Okay, this is, I think, video 31, I can't remember. Anyway, about the development of production line. I am the designer and coder, Klifsky, and the build that you're looking at is Alpha 1.24, but it's not really. It's 1.23 with one tiny piece of optimization I did this morning before recording this. Effectively, this is the version that is out there already on Steam and Humble, and it should be on GOG tomorrow probably. So I'm at the main menu here. I should just point out, don't forget to, if you're playing the game, to vote on our priorities here, because it's really very helpful, and it's kind of like the first thing we look at determining what to work on in the sort of next week. So if you haven't already, please vote on this. And when things score really low, we take them out, like better sound effects. I took out this time, and animation, because they were scoring really low. Okay, yeah, if I go here, something that's changed is we have language support, sort of. Not in a position to pay for translation for everything at the moment, but loads of people volunteered to do like translations of the game, and I know it's very popular in Germany at the moment, and a few other countries. So all of the code support is there, but all you can pick at the moment is English. But it is possible to translate the game completely and then just add to this drop-down list. So I'm hoping a few keen people will sort of help out with that, and then we will have multiple language support. And what happens is that restarts the game. I need to make sure that I do take that out of the normal menu, actually. Let me load up my, what I call Super Late game, which is my huge silly factory, and talk about some of the other stuff. This is a factory I've been testing for a while. And it's pretty big, I would say. So, loads of stuff has gone in. Touch screens have gone in. They're not in many cars in the real world yet. I am lucky enough to have one in mine, and they're amazing. But yeah, touch screens. So there they are. It's iconic. They're not to scale. So here's some like touch screens that are waiting there to be fitted. And there is a tech research for that under technologies. If you go down here, touchscreen interface. So that's a new resource that has to be imported. You can't make the touchscreens yet. At some point that would be so cool to have like your own like chip fab and stuff like that, requiring glass and silicon and I don't know, kind of cool, wouldn't it? So touchscreens are in there. One of the things that we revamped in the sort of last patch where we did this whole features thing, if I just show you that, you've probably already seen it now, is that some stuff never becomes universal on the lower price models. So if we go to touchscreen interface, it's currently very rare everywhere, and that will never change for a budget car. So you're never going to be in a position where you have to put a touchscreen on a budget car. It's always going to be some high-end thing. We're going to add loads more super high-end stuff as well. Ultimately, I'd love to have like gull-wing doors and stuff like that. Doors that go like this. Excellent. Anyway, so that's in. Cameras are in as well. If we go to a tech, don't know if we have a reversing camera on our cars or not yet. Technologies, blah blah blah. Where's reversing camera? Help me out. Where's reversing camera? Oh, here it is. Oh well, traffic aware cruise control. We've got that. So now, if you're fitting a traffic aware cruise control or a reversing camera, you actually need a camera. So a camera is a new component. So brakes is where we do the cruise control, isn't it? And yes, little camera has been delivered to be used there. We fixed a bug that someone kindly reported that I hadn't spotted at all, where if you had like a basic model, that's a sedan thing, yep, that it wouldn't fit the high-end equipment to it, but it would still use the resources. Oops. Anyway, that's fixed. Okay, so anyway, those are the main sort of like new-ish things. I just did some optimizing this morning that speeds some stuff up. But it's probably more relevant to talk about what's coming up and to ask people's opinions on that. So, okay, with the new model, the new financial model, if we go here, I've currently got 3 different cars here. I've got a standard, in other words, sort of budget SUV. I've got a budget sedan, and I have a mid-range sedan. Currently, that's fully featured. That's $27,000 versus $18,000. So we have that concept in at the moment of that, where, for example, certain things are expected here. Like we expect electric windows, heater, and in-car music. If I go here, electric windows and heater are common but not universal on a budget model. So I could untick those and still sell this car fine, whereas I'd be penalised for it if I untick them here. And that's all well and good, and that's in the game, and I think that kind of works pretty well. We also have expensive and luxury models which aren't kind of fully developed yet. But one of the things that I'm going to be working on next, or in the next version anyway, is to model the actual demand for and the kind of like customer decision making at these different levels. Because generally speaking, when you are in the market for a new car, I'm obviously talking new cars, not used cars, you're either looking for a budget car, a mid-range car, an expensive car, or a luxury car. You know, you don't go along with your financing or your savings of $20,000 and then go, oh, I found another 7, let's have a mid-range car. So those customers tend to be, you know, in silos, as we'd say. And at the moment, we don't model that. So at the moment, what happens in the showroom, which is fairly simplistic at the moment, these are all the cars that you've exported, but you haven't sold yet. And these are individual models of car, and you'll see them go. So that's an LX. I don't even know what those things mean. And these are the cheap ones. So at the moment, what happens in code is that customers kind of rock up to the showroom. Can you say rock up? And they look at each car and they'll sort of say, how much do I think that car should go for? How much is it going for? Therefore, what's the probability of me buying it? And then they may or may not buy it. And if they don't, they disappear. And periodically, all of that is recalculated. More customers appear, and they evaluate the sort of value for money of it. And there's like a probability distribution of them buying a car. In other words, if the car is a really good deal, then it will sell almost immediately, just because the probability is. If it's a really shit deal, it will eventually sell up to a certain point, but it will take time. So if you're selling loads of cars, they have to be competitively priced, which makes sense. If you're only selling 1 car an hour or something, you can probably have a huge margin on it, and you'll just wait until some gullible drunk idiot comes in and buys it. So that's the current model. So what I want to do is I want to change that, so not only do I have customers that are coming in and only looking for certain models of car, but also the size of that market will be a variable, as we say. So when I have that, oh look, at last, flipping SUV rather. Is that a bug? That wasn't a bug. So the minute I can model that, I can model other things. So I can then have customers that want a cheap SUV. And if you don't have a cheap SUV, that's it. They're gone. Or who want a luxury compact car, which do exist. I had one once, I believe. So with that in mind, there can then be sort of all sorts of code and events and scenarios where, for example, you know, maybe new government taxes or whatever would penalise SUVs. Or, for example, in the UK, we just changed our car tax system so that luxury cars get an extra sort of tax payment every year. So, you know, obviously that would depress the market for luxury cars. And this is going to be a big part of like the game going forwards, because what I need to do is have a system where I can Alright, well, let's just pick. Doesn't matter, I'm just talking. Once that is in place, I can then model all sorts of other things, and then we can put marketing in. Now, if you've noticed that marketing is down here, marketing! Look, there's even a little desk with a beanbag. It's all marketing people sit on beanbags. That's a fact. Because once marketing is in, you'll be able to kind of, like boost certain aspects of your cars and appeal to certain markets. For example, when you see a car ad, it's never like Ford, great cars. It's never that. It's more the Ford whatever. So they tend to kind of like focus on a particular kind of like market segment with advertising. So for example, if you find that you've built too many luxury cars and the luxury car market is too small, and you need to capture a larger slice of that market, then you would target your marketing at higher price points, and try and push your brand that way. All of that kind of like interesting stuff to do with branding and marketing can only really happen when I've kind of separated customers out into, do they want a cheap car or do they want a posh luxury car, and stuff like that. So that's going to be coming. It's not as complicated to code as it sounds, because I've coded stuff like that a lot in various games for various companies and my own stuff. And it's really fun to code. I'm really looking forward to doing the advertising and the marketing, which is why I haven't done it yet, paradoxically, because I want to do it properly. So anyway, that's a bit of sort of kind of rant on what we're going to be working on. Let me just have a little look. I have in another window the other priorities. So, clicky, click, click, click. Yeah, so the top priority that people are voting for at the moment is the upgrade all slots option. So if I go here, that's not a good example. I probably don't have one, which is annoying. Don't have any fuel tank upgrades, do we? Have I done the nozzles? I've done the nozzle. That hasn't had all its upgrades. Yeah, so turbo drying, for example. Say you research turbo drying that lets you lets your paint drying slots work faster, basically. At the moment, if you've got 8 of those and you want turbo drying on all of them, you have to go to each one, click on them, and go, oh, okay, turbo drying, I'll have that. Click. A little extra fan appears. I don't know if anyone notices. Anyway, loads of people that have get annoyed with that and go, oh, I have to do 8 clicks, Cliff. That's shit. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to implement it. It's trivial to do, but like from a GUI point of view, I might just have buy and an extra button there with all. And does that necessarily make sense? And if I click on it, does it just do it? I could have a little tooltip on there telling you how much it would cost. Because if you've got like 100 of these, that would cost like 2,900. At the moment, which is easy. In fact, we've got a stupid amount of money because it's unbalanced. So I'm not sure. I think a little button there with just all written in. I don't like text. I would much rather have an icon there. But what icon means all? Well, that could be a tick button. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to do that. That's the number one thing that people want, believe it or not. The second most popular thing is upgrades for manufacturing efficiency, which I'm surprised it's taken people so long. So, for example, this is manufacturing where we turn steel into flat steel sheets. You cannot make that any faster at the moment. You wouldn't want to actually, because look, I have a massive bottleneck here on fit windows. I need to make the windows locally because look, the resources are coming from there and they're coming slowly, and there's a bottleneck. Anyway, so manufacturing upgrades, and I can't decide what to do here, whether or not I should do like general techniques that are applicable to everything, or I should have like faster pressing machine that is usable on like maybe 4 different ones, or whether each individual thing, so like you know rolling speed or something for these. I haven't decided yet. And then after that is marketing. Model demand for each price category, which is what I've been talking about. Maybe that will climb up. Then we've got a research queue. People want to research the queue, and I understand why. And then a better tutorial. Those are the current priorities. If you disagree, then vote. You have to have a copy of the game to vote. So anyway, that's it. Ramble. And also, if you're bilingual and you've got time on your hands and you love the game and you would like to see it do better, we did a guide up on Steam, a Steam guide on how to produce translations for the game. And I'm hoping that from the people that sort of said that they could help out there would, even if you only translate one file, you know, that's helpful. And I'd love to be able to sort of roll them into the build of the game. You know, that would be really cool. And please tell your friends about the game, blah, blah, blah. It's getting there. I love big factories. I really do. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is Production Line. It's in early access on Steam and GOG and direct from our website through the Humble widget. I've run out of things to say, so I will see you next week. Thank you for watching.